Hello children. So yesterday we have learned about the protozoan diseases. Protozoan diseases we have learned, and I told you that yesterday that I will show you the blood sample of a malarial patient. So today we have got the real original slide of a malarial patient blood sample it is. So you can see the RBCs with a blank space in the center. Blank space in the center, those are the infected RBCs. So if the blood sample will be like this, then we have to understand that the person is suffering with malaria. And I told you signet ring stage is an important stage in the malarial parasite when it will be growing inside the RBC. So one slide I have kept here. So here you can see the signet ring stage, and here in this slide you can see the RBCs which are being consumed by the Plasmodium parasite. In this the Plasmodium parasites are residing. Fine. And this is about the blood sample by which in the laboratory by testing these the person we will be knowing that the person is suffering with the malaria. Fine. Now let me just disappear from the screen to show the another slide. Now here also you have got one slide with the different stages of malaria. Fine. So this I told yesterday that I am going to show you. Now let me go to the next one. Now today we will be discussing about the amoebiasis, that is protozoan diseases. Protozoan diseases hope we have discussed, and today we have to discuss about the Helminth diseases. Let me go to Helminth disease. Fine. So we will go to the Helminth disease. Helminth, it is nothing but the asceriasis. Helminth, they are nothing but round worms. So Helminth, they belong to the phylum Aschelminths. So here in this pure second year, you will be learning about the two diseases, that is asceriasis and phylariasis. What are the two diseases which you are learning? Asceriasis and phylariasis. The first one is the asceriasis, or simply you can say round worm disease. ಜಂತು ಹುಳು ರೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So what is the pathogen? Ascaris lumbricoid. I forgot to type here lumbricoid. Simply if you write ascaris, that also will do. What is the name of the pathogen or the parasite which causes ascariasis? It is Ascaris lumbricoid, which is also called as common roundworm. Commonly we will say roundworm. Jantu hula, dundu hula anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರ. So which part of the body will mainly get infected? It is the intestine. Mainly the intestine will get infected. It will suffer. What are the symptoms? Internal bleeding inside. As the parasite will reside, it leads to the bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage. So as these worms will grow in the intestine, when the sufficient number of worms are formed in the intestine, it leads to the blockage of the intestinal passage, and oftenly the person will get pain in the stomach. Now how the disease will spread from person to person? It is through the contaminated food and water. Mainly it is through the contaminated food and water. The food mainly includes vegetables and the fruits. How? When the person will be suffering with the ascariasis, the eggs of the Ascaris lumbricoid, they will be there in the alimentary canal of the patient during defecation. During defecation, along with the fecus, the embryonated eggs are discharged, and this human fecus will contaminate the soil, water, and the plants. Where the sanitation is very poor, usually the children of that area will suffer with this disease. Usually underdeveloped countries and in the villages where the sanitation facility is not much, and also in the countries where the human feces is used as a fertilizer, there this disease we will say commonly. Fine. So here I have shown the image. So here we have got certain images of ascaris, male and female, which you have learned already in the first year. The male is smaller compared with the female. No need for us to discuss about the difference between male and the female ascaris lumbricoid. So usually when the person will be suffering with the asceriasis, he will get pain and the stomach will get distended. ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಉಬ್ಕೋತದ, ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ನೋವಾಗ್ತದ, ಮಸಲ್ ಪೇನ್ ಆಗ್ತದ. ಮತ್ತು ಅಸ್ಕರಿಯಾಸಿಸಿಂದ ಮಗು ನರಳಿಕತ್ತದಂತ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದ? ಫೀಕಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹುಳುಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾವ, ಜಂತು ಹುಳುಗಳು ಫೀಕಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬರ್ತದ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದ asceriasis. This you'll be writing, you will be learning in the practical also. In the practical, just you have to remember the pathogen. Pathogen you have to remember. Fine, that is about the asceriasis. ಏನು ಜಂತು ಹುಳ ರೋಗದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ದೆ? ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ದೇಹದೊಳಗೆ ಎಂಟರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹೆಂಗೆ? ಕಂಟ್ಯಾಮಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಫುಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ವಾಟರ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ. ಅದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರಳೊಳಗೆ ಆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆಯಿಂದ ಹುಳ ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಬಂದು ಬೆಳೀತದ. ಬೆಳೆದಾಗ ಕರಳನ್ನು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದದು. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಕರಳೊಳಗೆ ಬೆಳೀತಿರ್ತದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ನಮ್ಮ ಊಟ ಕನ್ಸ್ಯೂಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕತ್ತಾಗ ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಉಂಡ್ರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಗೆ ಹತ್ತಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಹುಳುಗಳ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಂಗೆ ಆ ಮಗು ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಉಬ್ಕೋತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Usually we will say that the children are more prone to this disease because they have got the habit of keeping everything in the mouth. So that is about the asceriasis. As usual, you have to remember the pathogen, mode of transmission and symptom. Fine. So this is about the asceriasis. Now let me go to the next disease, that is phylariasis. Phylariasis is also called as elephantiasis. Phylariasis is also called elephantiasis. The pathogen which causes this disease is the Wuchereria bancrofti and Wuchereria malai. So these are the pathogens. Which part of the body will mainly get infected? The lymphatic vessels, especially the lymphatic vessels of the body extremities, especially lower limbs, and also the genital organs. What symptoms does it show? The filarial worm causes inflammation of the organs in which they live for many years, and usually the lymphatic vessels of the lower limbs will get inflamed, and the genital organs will oftenly get infected, and it will take a different shape. The deformities, the shape will become shapeless. Fine. So that is the symptom. How the disease will spread from person to person? It is spread through a bite of female Culex mosquito. Female Culex mosquito. So it is the vector which will help in spreading this disease. That is about the phylariasis. Phylariasis, it is also called elephantiasis because the leg of a person will become elephant's leg, like a elephant leg. That is why it is called elephantiasis. Phylariasis ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಆನೆ ಕಾಲಿನ ರೋಗ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದನ್ನು ಆನೆ ಕಾಲಿನ ರೋಗ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಈ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ ಏನದ ಲಿಂಫ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸ್ನಾಗ ಬೆಳೀತದೆ. ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಟಾರ್ಗೆಟ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ ಲಿಂಫ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸೇ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಇದು ಬೆಳೆದಂಗೆ ಆ ಲಿಂಫ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ವೆಸಲ್ಸು ಸ್ವೆಲ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಉಬ್ಬುಕೋತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಇದು ಬಾಡಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದಂತ. ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕೈ, ಕಾಲು ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಮೇಲ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೋಟಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. ಫೈನ್. ಆ ಪಾರ್ಟು ಉಬ್ಬುಕೋತ ಹೋಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಅದು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಕಾಲು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾಲು ಉಬ್ಕೋತ ಆನೆ ಕಾಲಿನಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಕಾರಣ ಇದನ್ನು ಎಲಿಫೆಂಟಾಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ದ ಲಿಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಸ್ವೋಲನ್ in the elephantiasis tissue, the bacteria will grow in large number, leading to the severity of the disease and the person will be suffering with the fever. The person will oftenly get the fever. So that is about the symptom, the swelling, and often the person will be getting the fever. So usually these parasites, they will be seen during the evening time, during the night in the body's peripheral part. During night time, in the peripheral blood circulation, these parasites will be present. That is why usually when a person will be doubted for the elephantiasis, the blood samples will be collected during the night time. Usually 7:30 ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ, ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲನ್ನು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾರ, ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾವು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಗನೇ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪ್ಯಾರಾಸೈಟ್ಸ್ ರಕ್ತದೊಳಗೆ ನಮ್ಮದು ದೇಹದ ಪೆರಿಫೆರಲ್ ರೀಜನ್ಗೆ, ಹೊರಗಿನ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಹೊರಗಲ್ಲ, ಒಳಗೆ ಪೆರಿಫೆರಲ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಅಂತ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿಲ್ಲ, ಆ ರೀಜನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಕಾಣೋದು ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಬ್ಲಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಪಲ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ hope you will remember what is elephantiasis or phylariasis. It is a Helminth disease which is caused by a parasite called Wuchereria bancrofti, and mainly the lymphatic vessels will get infected, and the Wuchereria bancrofti mainly reside in the lymphatic vessel, leading to the swelling. And the vector for the transmission of this disease is the female Culex mosquito. Fine. Now let us move further. Now fungal disease. Fungal disease, it is a disease which is caused by fungi. So here we have got one disease which is called ringworm disease. So many fungi will cause this disease like microsporum, trichophyton, epidermophyton. These are the three fungi which causes the ringworm disease. Actually the ringworm is it is a wrong name, we can say, because it is not caused by the worm, it is caused by the fungi. But then also the name remained till now like that only. So we are having a practice of saying this disease as a ringworm. Medically it is called tinea. Now which part of the body will get mainly infected? The skin, nail, scalp. These are the three important parts which will get affected by the ringworm. What are the symptoms? Here you are seeing the image. The part which will get infected by the ringworm will become dry. It will become scaly. It will become little bit rough. And mainly here we will see intense itching. ಎಷ್ಟು ತುರಿಸ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹಿಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಅಂತೀವಲ್ಲ ಕರ ತುರಿಸ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತ, ಅದು ತುರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಮಾಧಾನ ಅನಿಸಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ತುರಿಸ್ತದ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಚ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಅ red circular patch. Usually it will grow in a ring manner. In a circular pattern only it will grow with an intense itching. It will be spreading in this manner only. Fine. And usually the growth is helped by the warmth of body regions, like wherever it will find warmth there, these fungi will grow intensely. So how the disease causing this germ, this fungi will spread? It will spread usually through direct contact. Usually these fungi, they are found in the soil. Apart from this, if we share the cloths, towels, or personal, you can say personal things like comb, pencil, if we share, we also will get contracted by this disease. What is ringworm disease? It is a fungal disease. What are the pathogens? Microsporum, trichophyton, and epidermophyton. How do we get contracted through this disease? Through direct contact with the pathogen. It may be through the soil, clothes, comb, pen, whatever it is. If we come in contact with the parasite, then we will get the disease. What are the symptoms? Mainly circular it will usually, the parasites will infect the skin, nails and the scalp, and the infection will grow in a circular pattern. The infected part will become dry, scaly, and it will show a very intense itching. That is about the ringworm disease. And usually I forgot to say you one thing I wanted to say, but just I forgot. In coming slides it is there. So phylariasis and the Helminth disease. I told these two diseases usually are seen very commonly in the countries where human excreta is used as a fertilizer for the growth of the vegetables. So in such countries, the children are screened yearly for the infection, whether they have got infection or not. For that they are screened, and periodically they will be given the deworming treatment. A tablet will be given. The worms, if they will be there in the body, they will get excreted through they will get the child will get rid of those parasites during defecation. They will come out of the body if the child will be given the tablets. Fine. So that we will take during preventive measures. Now hope you understood the asceriasis, phylariasis and ringworm disease. These are the three diseases which we have learned today. And now let me go to the next slide. Prevention and control of infectious diseases. So how to prevent the infectious disease spread? So here some of the measures are there, and it is a question for 2 to 3 marks. So first we have to concentrate on the personal hygiene. What do you mean by personal hygiene? Keeping oneself clean. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ನಾವು ಶುಚಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಡೋದು. How do you keep yourself clean? Already right from your high school, right from your primary school, you are learning. Personal hygiene includes taking bath daily, wearing clean clothes, and drinking clean water, consuming a clean, hygienic, nutritive food. These all the things will come under personal hygiene. And in the personal hygiene, usually I will advise in the class, even your parents also will advise you not to exchange the inner garments. ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಒಳ ಉಡುಪುಗಳನ್ನು ಒಬ್ಬರದೊಬ್ಬರು ಧರಿಸಬಾರ್ದು, ಒಬ್ಬರೊಬ್ಬರು ಹಾಕೋಬಾರ್ದು. ಹಾಕ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೀನಾಗಿ ಒಗೆದು ಸೂರ್ಯನ ಕಿರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಒಣಗಿಸಿ ಇಸ್ತ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕೇ ಹೊರತು ಹಾಗೆ ಒಗೆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಣಗಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ. This point also comes under personal hygiene. Now public hygiene. Public hygiene, it includes the spread of awareness through different media. Like what must be spread, what kind of awareness we have to spread among the population? The disease, mainly contagious diseases, their mode of transmission and the method of prevention. ಈ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಆ ರೋಗಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು, ಆ ರೋಗಗಳ ಹರಡುವಿಕೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು, ಮತ್ತು ತಡೆಗಟ್ಟೋ ವಿಧಾನದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಸರಿನಾ? ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪೋಸಲ್ ಆಫ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟಾ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಹೋಮ್, ಎವ್ರಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್, you can take whatever unit of the society, like maybe school, college, garden, canteen, hospitals, office, all these units will produce the waste, and excreta, of course, excreta is there. So these must be disposed properly. The disposal of these waste and excreta is very, very important because they are responsible for the spread of the disease. And periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs. Periodically we have to disinfect and clean the water reservoirs. Usually the disinfection will be done by using a chemical called malathion, and pools and tanks also must be cleaned periodically. And standards, some good practices or standard practice of hygiene must be taken care in the public catering, because many people will be taking, I mean usually often we will be using this canteen and all. So that is very important. ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕ ಸ್ಥಳಗಳೊಳಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ವಿತರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಏನೇ ತೊಗೊಳೋದಿರಲಿ ಕೊಡೋದಿರಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೈಜೀನ್ ತುಂಬ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ these practices are very important. Fine, these practices are very important in controlling certain diseases. So public hygiene ಒಳಗೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಿ? Awareness we have to spread among the population about the disease, its spread and prevention, and a proper method of disposal of waste and excreta must be practiced, and periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, and a standard practice of hygiene must be there in the public catering. Now, for the airborne diseases, what preventive measures one has to take? So, in the airborne diseases, you have studied pneumonia, common cold. This we have studied. Fine. So, here usually we have to avoid close contact with the infected person. ಈ ಏರ್ಬೋರ್ನ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ತದಿಲ್ಲ, ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಕೆಮ್ಮೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಸೀನೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ನಾವು ಯು ಆರ್ ಮಚ್ ಫೆಮಿಲಿಯರ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕೊರೋನಾ. ಈ ಕೊರೋನಾ ಸಲುವಾಗಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇವಾಗ ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಆದ. ಸೊ ಏರ್ಬೋರ್ನ್ ಡಿಸೀಸಸ್ಗೂ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮಸ್ಟ್. Now that is about the airborne diseases. Now vector-borne diseases, what we have to take care for the vector-borne diseases. So vector-borne diseases salvaginda we have to prevent the growth of the vectors itself. ಈ ವೆಕ್ಟರ್ದಿಂದ ಹುಟ್ಕೊಳ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕ್ರಿಮಿಗಳು ಬೆಳಿಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ the mosquitoes and the houseflies are responsible for the spread of the disease. ನೊಣ ಮತ್ತು ದ್ವಾಮಿಗಳೇನದಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಅವೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ರೋಗಗಳನ್ನು ಹರಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ. ಅವುಗಳ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆನ ನಾವು ನಿಯಂತ್ರಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ದ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆನ್ ದ TV. So we have to avoid the stagnation of water in and around the residential area. ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ನೀರು ನಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. If we avoid the stagnation of the water, we will be avoiding many diseases. So the first point, we should not allow water to stand nearby our home. Then we have to clean regularly the household coolers. If the coolers, usually we will use water in the cooler. We have to clean them periodically and dry them in the sun. And mosquito nets we have to use in the home. And if water bodies are there nearby home or wherever it is where the population is there one must introduce the fishes like gambusia. So what is the use of these fishes? These fishes will feed on the larvae of the mosquito. The larvae of the mosquito will grow in the stagnant water. When we introduce gambusia fishes, these fishes will feed on these larvae, and with the mosquito growth will be prevented. And then the insecticides must be spread in the ditches, drainage areas and the swamp to kill the insects. And then doors and windows must be provided with the wire mesh just to prevent the entry of the mosquitoes. ಜಾಲಿಗಳು ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಹೊಡಿತಾರೆ. ಇವಾಗ ಆ ಜಾಲಿಗಳು ಹೊಡೆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಈ ಮಸ್ಕಿಟೋಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಬರೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಿವೆಂಟಿವ್ ಮೆಷರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟಿಸ್. ನಾವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, immunization. immunization, usually it is done through the vaccines. So immunization, it is usually done through the vaccines. Periodically, the child must be given the needed vaccine to gain immunity against certain dreadful diseases. This already we have discussed in the previous classes. Some of the diseases like polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, tetanus, these all diseases can be controlled through the vaccines. And usually when a newborn baby will be there, a list of vaccines will be given to the couple. So that already we have discussed. And for this purpose, the biotechnology has helped us a lot in the production of the vaccines, and even the antibiotics helped us a lot in preventing many of the infectious diseases. So always we have to keep in our mind the schedule of vaccination just to prevent our children from dreadful diseases. And also we have to advise our can say neighbors, or if we find if we will be having a child in the home itself, friends, etc. And nowadays the advertisement is also given, and nowadays because of the public media like the radio, television, especially television, the awareness is spread much than the ancient time, than the previous years we can say. Now this is about the immunization. Now we have to go to the cancer. Today let me just introduce you about the cancer. So today what all diseases you have learned? You have learned about the asceriasis, phylariasis and ringworm disease. You have to remember the pathogen, mode of transmission and the symptoms. Fine. Now let me just go to the cancer. Cancer, it is one of the most dreadful disease. It is one of the most dreadful disease of human beings, and which is a major cause for the death throughout the world, and it strikes without giving any warning. That is the point. So usually before the awareness about the cancer, the people used to think if a person will get the cancer, his life will be cancelled, like that. Cancer bantu antandre ಆಯ್ತು ಸಾಯ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹಿಂಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊತಿದ್ವಿ. But now because of the advancement in the medical sciences, we know that all the cancers are not so dangerous. Some can be treated if they are detected early. And some of the methods we have to follow to know the cancer. So usually it is said that the cancer will strike without giving warning, because cancer is nothing but a tumor. A tumor, when it will be formed in the body, till it will give pain, we will be not knowing that we are suffering with the cancer. Till that time the cancer tumor will be grown in our body. Fine, that is why it is usually said that a person will get the cancer without symptoms, without any symptoms. So here some the survey shows that many millions of the people will die because of the cancer, especially India. India is also suffering nowadays because of the awareness. The death rate has been reduced. So in our body, the cell growth and differentiation is highly controlled and regulated. You know that the zygote will grow into an embryo through a regulated and controlled cell division. And in our body also, the cell division will be going on with a regulated and controlled manner. It is an inbuilt process where the genes will regulate the cell division. But in the cancer cells, the cell division is not regulated, it is not controlled, because the cell will go mad. Cell will not be having any control on its own function. you know that our body is under our control and it will work in a very regulated and controlled manner. If you wish to have the food, then only you will eat the food. If you want to do work, then only you will do work. Whatever your wishes will be there, certain things. And don't take this for the some of the organ functions. Fine, I'm saying the activities. So all these activities are regulated by the brain. Fine. So the brain of the cell is the nucleus. And in the nucleus, what all things will control the cell division? It is the genetic material. Fine. And when the nucleus will not understand what to do, what not to do, then we will say that the cell has become mad. So usually the cancer is because of the madness of the cell, where it is not having any control over its growth itself. Fine. So that is the cancer. And usually some of the properties, just I took here a very important property, that is the contact inhibition. So usually in the normal cells, when the similar cells will come in contact with each other, it will form a tissue. So during that time, the cell growth is stopped. That is called contact inhibition. Fine. And here the property of the contact inhibition, when it is lost, the cells will not form any tissue. Just the multiplication of the cell will be going on. When the cells will multiply without any control, when the cells will multiply without any control, it will form a mass of cells, a group of cells, which leads to the tumor. So cancer is nothing but tumor. Fine. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳ್ದ, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಬಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್, ಅವ್ರ ಜಿಂದಗಿ ಜೀವನದಿಂದನೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಕಾರಣ ಆ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ಯದ. ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೋದು ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮೂನೆ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತಾವ, ಒಂದು ಗಡ್ಡಿ ರೂಪದೊಳಗೆ ಬೆಳೀತದ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದೊಳಗೆ. ಆ ಗಡ್ಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ತನಕ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದೊಳಗೆ ಅಕೊಮೊಡೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಅದ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಮ್ಗೆ ನೋವು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಒಳಭಾಗಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಮುಟ್ಟಿನೂ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಮುಟ್ಟಕ್ಕೋ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಕೆಲವು ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕಿನ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯಾಲಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳೀತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ನಾನ ಮಾಡೋ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದು ಗಂಟು ಥರ ಏನೋ ಹತ್ತುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಆಗ್ಯದಪ್ಪ ಗಂಟು ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೊತೀವಿ ನಾವು, ಹೌದಲ್ಲ? ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಅದರದ್ದು ಆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಟ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದು ನರಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಹಾಕೋ ತನಕ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಯದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಆಗ್ಯದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ರಿಸ್ಕಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆದ್ರೂ ಯೂಶ್ವಲಿ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗೋ ಕಾರಣ ಹೆಣ್ಮಕ್ಳಿಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ 40 ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಗೈಡ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇಂಟರ್ನೆಟ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ ನವ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್, ಮೋರ್ ಅವೇರ್ನೆಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಜೀನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಅದಾವಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಹದೊಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ಅವು ಯಾಕೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೀಸನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಡ್ರೆಡ್ಫುಲ್ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ತನ್ನ ಮ್ಯಾಲಿನ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಕಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಶುರು ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಆ ಸೆಲ್ ಡಿವಿಷನ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಾ? ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಟಿಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನಿರ್ದಿಷ್ಟವಾದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. You know that group of cells with a similar character will be performing similar function, which is called as tissue, like that you have studied. When the cells will go on dividing without forming tissue, then what those cells will do? Simply they'll be growing. ಬರೀ ಅವು ಬೆಳ್ಕೋತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕ್ಕೇನಂತಾರೆ? ಟ್ಯೂಮರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಟ್ಯೂಮರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್. ಟ್ಯೂಮರ್ಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ 2 ವಿಧಗಳು ಅದಾವ. There are 2 types in the tumor, that is benign tumor and the malignant tumor. So how many types of tumors are there? Benign and the malignant tumor is there. So about this let us discuss tomorrow. Fine. So keep this in your mind. Now let me say further things tomorrow, I mean in the next class. Okay. Thank you children. Hope you are following the OBS classes properly, because along with the saying will be along with the Well, along with the discussion, I will be having the written material also, and notes also will be having more or less same thing I have kept in the notes also. So whenever will be when you come back for the college at that time, if you will not understand some of the things, you can ask. Hmm? Okay, bye children, and thank you. Let me just end the class.